Hello. It's October 26th and it's Positivity Monday. So I just have a few things to share with you that I hope will be maybe inspiring or uplifting. And so the first one is about the Google CEO. His name is Sundar Pichai. And he came from India. He grew up very, very poor and he went to Stanford. And the flight, his first time on a plane, cost his father a year's salary. And so he graduated and he joined Google in 2004, and by 2015 he was the chief CEO, as chief executive officer. And so he comes back. He's addressing the 2020 graduates at Stanford, and he says, with the economy tanking across the world, his message is to be open, be impatient, be hopeful, and I would add to that persistent. That needs to be heard more than ever with COVID changing the economy. Um, and he also says, and this is something that touched me, we firmly believe that in person, being together, having a sense of community is super important when you have to solve hard problems and create something new. And so we don't see that changing. Well, being in community is so important, and it's all through the Gospels. God wants us to be in community, to live together um, with hope and grace and joy. And we work toward it, but it's a tough one. So here's just a short thing from Kansas Wheat in 1939. And when this wheat company realized women were using their sacks to make clothes for their children, so the mills started using flowered fabric for their sacks so the kids would have pretty clothes. And the label would eventually wash out. So I thought that was pretty neat. My mother used to talk about during the Depression, she had two dresses that her mother made, and she just alternated those for a long time when she was a little girl. And then um, lately I've thought a lot about, well, not just lately, but hunger. Um, and we are so blessed, we don't have to worry about hunger. So the United Nations World Food Program was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in 2020. Um, and the organization was a driving force in efforts to prevent the use of hunger as a weapon of war and conflict. Um, it's just it's so awful. Um, Using hunger as a weapon is just despicable. So, um, the World Food Program's primary goal is to deliver food around the world to those that need it the most, saving lives from starvation and stopping the long term consequences of malnutrition. Within the last year, they've delivered food to 100 million of the world's most desperate people in 88 nations. It was established by President Dwight Eisenhower in 1961. And among the areas in which they were most active were Yemen, which is facing starvation due to an ongoing civil war. They're not just hungry, they're facing starvation. Afghanistan and South Sudan. So the World Food Program plays a key role in multilateral cooperation in making food security an instrument of peace. The coronavirus pandemic has contributed to a strong upsurge in the number of victims of hunger in the world. And the World Food Program has demonstrated an impressive ability to intensify its efforts. So keep these people who are starving in your prayers. I wish we could find a source uh, where we could help with that somehow. Um, and here is something to take with you. As the world fights to figure everything out, I'll be holding doors for strangers, letting people cut in front of me in traffic, saying good morning, keeping babies entertained in grocery lines. You ever done that? That's fun. And they're the parents are so thankful. Stopping to talk to someone who's lonely, tipping generously, waving at police, sharing food, giving children a thumbs up, being patient with sales clerks, smiling at passersby, and buying a stranger a cup of coffee. Why? Because I will not stand to live in a world where love is invisible. Join me in showing kindness, understanding, and judging less. Be kind to a stranger. Give grace to friends who are having a bad day. Be forgiving with yourself. If you can't find kindness, be kindness. Blessings.